A really nice way to introduce vocals and make transitions in a track is something called the reverse reverb technique. And today I'm going to show you how you can do that kind of effect in Logic. Take the overall concept and apply it and get creative with it in your own particular track. What we're going to do is work on this little section here where we're transitioning from the build up of the break in the intro of the song into the main drop. This section here, and I'm going to look to build this reverse in these two bars here. So there's the little phrase here, and what I want to do is get some of the actual vocal texture itself that comes in. Underlying that, we've got some other elements here that I've reversed and mixed up, but I want the actual tonality of her vocal to come in as well. Today's tutorial is sponsored by DistroKid. They allow me to get my music like this out to all of the major streaming platforms. If you want to release your music too at a price an independent artist can easily afford, check the description below for some more information on distributing your music with DistroKid and get a discount off of your first year of unlimited distribution using that link. Okay, so here's going to be my process. We're going to make a few extra channels. So firstly, I'm going to select the vocal channel here and I'm going to hit Command D. That lets me duplicate the channel because I'm going to use some of the phrase from here. And I'm going to copy this region down. I can highlight it, hold Option and drag it down. That'll make a copy for me. So I've now got this one here, Audio 25, and it's copied all the effects over for me as well because I want that overall tonality, but you can strip effects away and do whatever it works for you. Now we're going to zoom in on this. I can press Z and it will zoom right in on that part for me. And I only need a small phrase here to create what we're after. So I'm going to press A to switch the automation lanes off. We can press X as well to get rid of the mixer. We're going to drag this right back like this. And we're going to drag it sort of up to the phrase here. If we press U, that'll loop round for us. And that's what I want. I'm going to use the for you bit because it's kind of got like a bit of a tail off and, you know, right there. So if we solo this by pressing S, we can hear just this, and we're going to just kind of highlight what we're after. I like that right there. Now you can hear that's got loads of reverb on it already. I'm going to take that a whole step further and put another reverb on the channel. I'm just going to unhighlight that, press zoom again so we can just go out of the whole track. I'm going to bring this back into these few bars here where we want this transition to kind of happen. And this is just me keeping everything organized. I'm now just going to rename channel 25 by double clicking, and I'm going to put Verb Rev. And we'll probably end up deleting this channel afterwards. It's just going to be what we use to build the sound. So I'm going to put another reverb on the end here. Doesn't really matter what one you choose. In this instance, I'm going to use the RC48 from Native Instruments. But honestly, Chromaverb, Space Designer, whatever you like. The reason for this is I'm going to make the size really quite large. And I can control the lows and highs separately. And I want to have a lot more of the highs roll out than the lows. So you can see here, I can take this away now, and we can see the display here is giving me more of the mids and highs rather than the low end. And then I can use the frequency split here to determine how that responds as well. And the reason for that, I've got the drum break coming in here. I don't really need all that low muddy noise. I want this to kind of sit on top of everything. So again, if we press U around our little vocal loop or just loop this section here, we'll be able to hear what we've got. And now it's pure reverb, okay? It's 100% set to wet. Okay, now the other thing we need to do is to create that reverse sweeping effect, we actually need to flip this vocal round. So while this region's highlighted, make sure we've got inspector up. We press I to bring inspector up on the left hand side here. In the more options here, when you've got a region highlighted, there's usually going to be a reverse option. Now, if reverse isn't available to you, follow these steps. This sometimes might not show up, and you can see that in the situation I've got here, and that's because we're using flex pitch. As you can see, we've got show hide flex pitch, and this channel is using that. So what we need to do, and there's a couple of ways we can do this, we can right click it and do bounce in place, or it's very simply Control B for you. And this is going to create a print of that audio with that reverb on it. So what we need to do in this situation, we're going to switch our reverb off. I'm going to call this print, just so I know what it is, because like I said before, I'm probably going to delete it off. I'm going to include the audio tail and everything. That's fine for now, even though we've got our reverb off, and we're just going to print that right in the space there. So now we can turn flex off on that track, and it's not going to adjust our timing or anything. And we've got, so we can put our reverb back on now, and you get to skip that whole entire step if this wasn't your situation. And we're just going to roll this back here, and if we just zoom in, we'll make sure we're not cutting anything away. And we'll just introduce ourselves a little fade at the end there. So now we've got, so back to inspector now, and our reverse option is available to us. We can just simply click that now, and that's reversed for us. And now we're going to have something that sounds a little bit different to what we had before. And we got that big tail off, okay? Now the length of the tail off is really determined via your reverb settings and the shape, size, etc. It's whatever you want it to be. In this case, it's going to be like 5 seconds odd. But we're not necessarily going to use all of it, but again, we might. Let's see what we get out of it. So we're going to use that same functionality we used before of bounce in place. We can do Control B again. And this time I'm going to call this Rev Vox RC48, and this time instead of selected track, I'm going to go new track, and I want everything printed into it as well, much like before. And we're going to just leave the source alone in case we need to make any kind of adjustments. We've got it all set up, so we're going to OK that, and that will give us a brand new channel right below it that's already got what we wanted done for us. So we're starting to get there. Let's just mute away this one. So now in this little build up section, we've got this. I've been waiting all night, still waiting. I've been waiting all night. So we're getting there. What I'll do now is take this and we're going to reverse it again. And I want it to end roughly where the vocals are going to be coming in. But I kind of want it to peak where we use the vocal sample. So I'll probably line it up something like this, listen to it, and then decide what we're going to cut away here. So now we're going to have this. Still waiting. I've been waiting all night. I lie waiting, still waiting. Okay, and we can listen to it in isolation so we can get an idea of where we're at. So let's then have it in context with the vocal. I lie awake for you, sit still and wait. I think that's actually quite nice. I'm just going to make sure we've got a little fade out here. And I might find myself automating this out. Or potentially I can take this and we'll put a compressor on it. I've got my, what I call the FET side 8 preset. And we'll sidechain it into the vocal channel so it gets controlled automatically rather than having to automate it out. I lie awake for you, sit. I lie awake for you, sit. I lie awake for you. Now I mentioned how we'd probably delete the effects channel we made. What you can do as well is press H. It brings up your hide option. Put hide on it, leave it muted, press H again, and it will disappear. You ever want it back? You ever want to bring it back to maybe create another effect? Just press H again, and it will unhide that channel for you. It's just a way to keep your session nice and clean. So let's check this out in context now with everything else. I've been waiting all night. I lie awake, still awake. I've been waiting all night long. No matter what, I'll still be here for you. And there you have it. I really hope this video was helpful for you, and I do look forward to seeing you in more tutorials in the future. If you'd like to learn more about this style of music production, check out the video on screen now where I went through the entire process of building a track with vocals like this, start to finish. I look forward to seeing you in that, and take care.